Right now might be the best time to buy the best-selling video game system of all time. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about, no, not the PlayStation 5, not the Xbox, not the PlayStation 4. We are going to talk about this, the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was the best-selling console of all time. It still is, to this day, the #1 selling console ever.
Sony's PlayStation 2 is here. It is hot.
It's quickly disappearing from stores in its first day on sale nationwide.
We're air freighting the units in just to make sure that we cut the lead time for the products to get into the market.
Now, I'm not just saying that, the internet actually confirms this. With an install base of 155 million units worldwide, no other console has sold as much as the PlayStation 2. Now, this is my personal PlayStation 2. You've seen other videos where I showed you my retro video game collection. This one is one of my most prized possessions. But if you do not have a PlayStation 2, like I said at the beginning, this could be the best time for you to buy a PlayStation 2 because, mark my words, the price of these is about to go up. First of all, because I'm making this video telling you guys to buy it. So obviously millions of you are gonna watch this video and you're gonna all run out and buy PlayStation 2, which will increase the demand. But if that doesn't happen, the other thing is the consoles have this weird wave where they get more expensive at a certain peak time. Now the PlayStation 2 has not hit that peak time yet, so you can still get a system just like this. I got this system for $20. Now, not this exact setup because I did have to buy some other peripherals, and I'm gonna walk you through the peripherals that I used to set this up to be the ultimate PlayStation 2 collection. Plus, what does the brand new DualSense Edge have in common with the original DualShock 2 controller? We're gonna talk about that later on in this video. Now, the PlayStation 2 launched in North America in October of 2020. Now, that was a good year for me because I had recently gotten married and my wife actually saved a lot of her allowance or any money she could to buy this console for me. So it has a lot of sentimental value for me. It's one of the first consoles that I actually bought for myself, not that my parents bought for me, but we actually saved the money and bought the console for ourselves. I have a lot of great memories of gaming with this console, and when my kids were younger, they actually gamed on this console with me as well. So let's talk about the specs of the console a little bit. This comes with a Sony and Toshiba joint partnership to create what they called the Emotion Engine. Now, the Emotion Engine had 8 separate units. We're not going to call them cores because it's not really an 8-core processor, but each unit was responsible for specific tasks to help make the game system run more smoothly. The main CPU has a core clock speed of about 294 megahertz. That is very slow by today's standards, and it produced, coupled with the GPU, it was capable of about 6.2 gigaflops of performance. Now back then, gigaflops were important. Now nobody cares about a gigaflop. All they care about is, can the system handle it, and do I get slowdowns due to performance limitations of the console? If you don't get slowdowns, just pump up the graphics even more. But back then, the gigaflops helped them to figure out how many polygons they could have on the screen at one time, and they could calculate it out a lot better for figuring out how your games were gonna run and all of that. Now, it does have a built-in DVD and CD player. It is backwards compatible, so you can play your PlayStation 1 games on here. Your black bottom discs will just slide right in here, and those will play just fine. Most of the PS2 games were DVD games, which allowed them to use the expanded memory of the DVD of just over 4.7 gigabytes versus a CD, which didn't even have 1 gigabyte of storage. So that allowed you to store a lot of extra graphical information on the disc and benefit from it in a real world way. Now, as you heard, the system sold a lot of units, and that was partly due to the fact that this was a true multimedia device. In our home, it was our DVD player, it was our home entertainment system, and it was our gaming system. So it allowed you to throw out your DVD player. You didn't need it anymore. So the cost was really quite cost effective. Now, when we talk about what makes this system so good, I'm going to show you kind of some of the features of the PlayStation 2 and how you can enhance it. So first of all, we have 2 USB ports on the front, we have 2 controller ports, and 2 Magic Card memory card slots right here. You also have the DVD drive here, and a unique feature that a lot of people don't realize, if you're using this in vertical mode, the PS logo actually rotates so that it orientates vertically to match the vertical position. Yes, Sony has been making systems that can stand up ever since the PlayStation 2. So when you see your PS5 and you're thinking it's so original that it can stand up or lie down, they thought of this 20 years ago. Now I'm going to turn that back because that's how I use it. It does have an eject button and a power button. Around onto the back, we have a optical line out. We have a multi-AV out. We should have an expansion port cover here, which we don't have because I have a peripheral that uses that. We have, where is it? Power switch, and the power supply is built in, so it just has a 120 volt cord for us. On the sides, there's really not much to look at. The aesthetic of this was actually, it was pretty fancy for the time. It's still pretty fancy. But that leads us to our first peripheral. So you'll notice on the back here, there's this giant hole. That's because you could buy a module like this and you could install a hard drive. Now, hard drives used to be really big, so the hard drive would fit right inside there. Now, this is actually a knockoff hard drive adapter, and what it is just a hard drive adapter. Now, I have this, which is a mechanical laptop drive. It's a spare one I had lying around. I don't even know how big it is. It is 500 gigabytes, and it just plugs right in there. Now, if you wanted to, you could plug in any SATA drive. You could plug in an SSD if you wanted to get that extra performance. I'm not that worried about it. But because this is a knockoff, it's just a hard drive adapter. The original would have actually been a network adapter as well. And it just pops in just like this and plugs in there, and then there's these thumb screws that turn to lock it in place so that it stays connected even if you bump it around or whatever. I'm just turning it with my finger, but you're supposed to use a coin or something to screw that in. Now, fun fact, the release of the network adapter wasn't until 2002. Now, there was a workaround that actually let you use a Netgear USB Ethernet adapter, which you could plug into the front USB port, and it allowed you to actually connect online. So imagine me 20 plus years ago playing online Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with all of my online friends. It was all with people that had figured out how to hook up that adapter. Now, the keen observer will notice that I just gained a whole bunch more products on this side of the bench, and my hair looks a little longer, and this is a major continuity alert. Full transparency, I went to hook this all up and it wasn't working quite as good as I hoped, and I had to actually modify a lot. So I'm actually going to show you some of the products that I did get to create the most reliable PlayStation 2 experience that you can have right now. And again, we've got some new products that we're going to feature on here, and I'm going to tell you about those. I'm not going to show you a full this is how they work, because that's not what this video is. I just want to show you, here's some things you can do with the PlayStation 2, and here's some products that you can use to do that. If you want to see more about how to actually set this up, let me know in the comments, because I would love to tell you more about this and the setup, but I need to make sure that you guys actually want to watch that video first. Now, first of the products that I've been using is this. It's PS2 HDMI. It's a very inexpensive adapter. It plugs into the multi-port on the back of your PlayStation 5 and gives you an HDMI output. I will show you the actual connection of all of this stuff in a minute, but it's inexpensive, it works. The picture quality is not the best. You can judge for yourself shortly, but it works. The other thing you may have noticed is that this little guy just popped up out of nowhere, and that's because when I went to connect my PlayStation 2 controller, it's broken. So we recently moved, and all of my retro gaming collection had to get packed up and shipped in a box. You may have seen the video where I'm unpacking my retro gaming collection, and you may have seen how much of a mess everything was. Somehow that controller got wrecked in the process. I am going to pull it apart and see if I can fix it, because it's an original controller and this is not. Now, I will tell you guys, this is a wireless controller. It comes as a 2-pack, so that's the purple. And I got this guy here, which came as black. It's still wrapped up in the package. It comes with this little wireless dongle, and I have to say that it's pretty good. They're about $30 for the pair, for both of them, $30. They take AAA batteries, which I bought some Amazon Basics rechargeable AAAs and a charger. Again, I will put a link in the description for all of that. They seem to work really good. They are responsive, they're quick, and I would personally recommend these if you need replacement controllers. They look kind of original, but they also look kind of cheap. They feel good in your hand, they're sturdy, and they work good. The other thing you're gonna notice is this. Now, this is actually a two-part system. So you remember I was talking about my hard drive adapter and how you can boot this up? My hard drive adapter was actually set up to be, it's called Free Hard Drive McBoot, and it allows you to boot straight into the hard drive and load all your games off of there. Now, this adapter is not the best quality. It seems to be breaking, and my hard drive was having intermittent failure issues. So when I was looking at replacing this, you can absolutely still get this hard drive adapter, and they work pretty good. They're inexpensive, and it has worked good. However, it did not fare well on my move, and so it was time to look for replacements. So I got this. Now this is called MX4SIO, and what it does, don't worry if you don't hear that and know what I'm talking about. What it is basically a memory card, so it plugs into the memory card adapter on your PlayStation, but it allows you to load all of your backup games right off of a SD card, a micro SD card, or a full-size SD card. It has a slot for both on here. This little 128 gigabyte memory card is loaded up with all of my backup games. So I can put that right there. And then I have this, which is Free McBoot. It is installed on a PlayStation memory card already, and it's ready to go. Now, and it just plugs into controller slot number 1. If all of that sounds like a lot and you're like, holy crap, Gears and Tech just turned really geeky. The cool thing is you can actually get this as a package on Amazon. It comes just like this. You just buy them both. They're inexpensive. I will put links in the description. When they show up, all you do is plug this in here like this, and then plug this in here like this, and turn on your system, and you will see exactly what I'm going to show you here. You don't have to mod it, you don't have to hack it, you don't have to put any kind of a chip in, you don't have to do anything. It comes pre-installed, ready to go. So what you're about to see is just how this comes out of the package. So you can, like I said, install it onto the hard drive. There's a whole process. There's lots of guides and tutorials that show you how to do it, and then you can stick this in here. Personally, I'm going to ditch this setup because this is the best, most reliable setup that I can find right now. It's really amazing. So we're about to go back to the computer. I'm going to show you this all hooked up and running so you can see what you can do with this amazing piece of equipment still to this day. But before we do that, you wanted to see how the PlayStation 2 DualShock controller compares to the brand new DualSense Edge controller. The DualShock 2 has mushroom-topped analog sticks, and the DualSense Edge reintroduces those mushroom-top analog sticks when you're using the adjustable height thumbsticks for your controller. This is very much a throwback to the experience that you would have had gaming on your PS1, PS2, and your PS3. So it's kind of interesting how they're bringing back some of the features from the older controllers onto the new modern controllers. Now you can love it or you can hate it. Personally, I'm not sure if I love it or hate it. So now that we've done the full walkthrough, I've kind of bragged about how awesome I used to be. It's time to actually connect this up to the monitor and see what loader software I even have on here. It's been a little while since I've run this, so I'm gonna see what's even on here. It's gonna be pretty cool. So let's move over to the desk and boot this thing up. So now that we are at the workstation or at my desk, I want to get it up on this monitor right here. So we need to hook up the PlayStation first. So what we're gonna do is plug in our PS2 HDMI, and we're just gonna plug this in just like that. So it plugs into the multi-port. It is kind of long. I don't really like that about it, but then we can plug in the HDMI and we can plug in our power cord to the PlayStation. Just like that. Now, this is a powered HDMI adapter, so it uses a USB cord, so we can plug that right into the front. It's okay to do that. And then we'll plug this guy into there, like that. Now the system is, well, if we flip that switch on the back, now the system's ready to boot up, but we don't want to boot it yet. that is the time to put in our FreeMc boot memory card. We can put it into slot 1 or slot 2. And then we're going to put our MX4SIO into the other slot there like that. And then we're going to plug in our controller dongle into controller port number 1. Like that. Now we're ready to turn it on. Are you ready? So let's turn this bad boy on and watch it boot right up. FreeMc boot. Now I can turn my controller on, get it paired. Now FreeMc boot boots up into a menu just like this. This is normal, and this gives us the option to select what it is we're looking for. Normally, you're gonna just look for Open PS2 loader for MX4SIO. This is a special custom loader to use the games right off of that front memory card. You also have a launcher, an ELF launcher. You also have the regular OPL loads if that's your thing. This one's for exFAT, so if you stick a hard drive in the back, you can load it off of that. This one is if you're running it off of a USB stick. Yes, you can load games onto a USB stick just like this, but the USB is only 2.0 on here, and we can actually read games off of the memory card a lot faster than we can off of a USB stick. So this is not the preferred way to go, but it is possible. I'll put this right here so that you know it's possible to play it like that if that's what you want to do. We also have a media player. We can launch discs. We can do a controller tester, which I'm gonna use to test my PlayStation 2 controller that's broken. And then we can do a bunch of other stuff. I don't want to do a bunch of other stuff. I want to load PS2 loader. So we just load that up. It's going to say loading, and then it'll boot into a menu that shows me all of the games that I have. Now that we're into OPL, Open PlayStation Loader, we've got our list of games that are available on here. It's got cover art. It does take a bit of setting up, but it came pre-set up on this system just like this. So when you plug it in, like I said, this is what you will see. You can load your games on here. You can back up your games onto here. It all works off of here just like this. So all we got to do is find a game that we want to play. Now a game that has a special place in my heart is Tekken Tag Tournament. So I'm going to load that game up now, and I'm going to just show you that game actually operating on the system. And here we are, game's loading up. It's running off of the memory card right there, and we can go straight in. Arcade, go to options. We can just say, yeah, let's play arcade. Let's play stage 1. Now, I said that I liked this game. I can't say that I'm good at this game. I don't even remember how to play it. I used to just spam buttons on this chick. Whoa, getting wasted. I remember I used to like step around them and then like waste them. Anyway, there you have it. Fully set up PlayStation 2 system. Lots of really cool tech there. It's really quite inexpensive right now. I imagine the pricing on this stuff is gonna go up. So you wanna jump on this while it's still cheap. You heard it here first. Gears and Tech. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.